how I'm firing. I'm strong. I'm strong. I'm strong. Strong. Ah, 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 ah.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy CMB checking in. And guys, we're only one day away from the Fatal Fury card that's set to take place in Times Square, New York. Of course, we have Ryan Garcia headlining the card. He'll be taking on Rolando Rolly Romero for the WBA 147-pound regular title. Also on that card, Devin the Dream Haney making his return to the ring. He'll be taking on none other than Jose Ramirez, and they're actually fighting at a catchweight. Then we have Teofimo Lopez taking on Arnold Barboza. That ought to be a great fight as well, and it's a stacked card, guys. You know, you can't really ask for anything more with a card like this. So I will be supporting the card. I will be ordering the pay-per-view, and I can't wait for fight night. But anyway, I want to talk about Ryan Garcia and Bill Haney. How Bill Haney has pointed out Ryan Garcia, his physique, how different he looks since the Osterine debacle. And he said that Ryan looks, you know, flabbier, basically. He said he has some titties on him. And I went back and I looked at pictures of Ryan and tape of Ryan leading up to the Devin Haney fight. And it's true. He looks a lot more, I would say, muscular. He looks a lot more brolic back then. The voice was changed. His whole demeanor in general was different, you know, leading up to that fight as it is now. You know, I wouldn't say he's fat, but he looks a little bit more softer. His voice, you know, is a little bit more high pitched than it was then. And I have no doubt, you know, that he was on performance enhancing drugs. Once he failed those 2 tests, you know, that's all I needed to see. You know, and him throwing out these allegations of, you know, people trying to sabotage him, we knew that was a bunch of hogwash. So I think Bill Haney's right on that. And, you know, I look at the media leading up to this fight and how they have, you know, done everything in their power to pussyfoot around the fact that Ryan was on drugs. They don't even want to mention it, guys. They don't even want to mention it. And Bill Haney's the only one that's doing it, and he's catching heat for it. And here's the thing. I notice a lot of boxing fans, I notice a lot of boxing mainstream media, they would rather orchestrate or hear a beautiful lie than to tell you guys the absolute truth. And this is why, you know, channels like mine are necessary, because we're not going to sugarcoat things. You know, we're going to tell the truth. And the truth is that Ryan was on drugs in that fight, and putting a fighter on drugs in the ring with a fighter who's clean, you know, that's a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. And, you know, it's dangerous. It's already a dangerous sport. You should not have a guy on performance enhancing drugs in the ring with a clean fighter. You know, something has to be done about that. They have to do something about that when it comes to the sport of boxing. People lose their lives in the ring. You know, it's the absolute truth on that. Now, I heard Bob Arum say that he wasn't completely sold on Ryan Garcia yet. I can't remember what interview that was. I just heard it. But me personally, I picked Ryan Garcia to beat Rolando Rolly Romero. Because looking at Ryan Garcia, from what I've seen, the training leading up to the fight, he just looks like the better skilled fighter, in my opinion. And Derek James is a hell of a trainer. So he's going to have Ryan ready. And I just never thought that Rolly was a technically sound fighter. He's a puncher. He has a puncher's chance in this fight. But I also have noticed that Ryan seems to be more concerned with Devin Haney than he is Rolly. I think he looks at Rolly as easy work. But I also say never underestimate your opponent going into a fight. You just never know what's going to happen, man. You could make a mistake. You know, Rolly's, you know, he's a hard puncher. He could take your head off. I want Rolly to take his head off, but I'm a realist. I know Ryan Garcia. Looking at Ryan Garcia, I think he's the better equipped fighter. Now, am I completely sold on Ryan? No, I'm not. And the reason I'm not sold on him is because Now he's not on Osterine. So is he going to be that same guy? I don't know, but you know, time will tell. When that bell rings, we're going to see what Ryan Garcia is truly made of. A part of me wants him to win because I do want to see Devin Haney get the rematch. But a part of him wants to see him lose because personally I feel Ryan has disrespected my community. But like I said, I know how to separate my personal feelings from my professional feelings. I think Ryan will win the fight. I think he will probably stop Rolly. I'm going to say the 8th round. But I just want to be honest with my subscribers. Ryan Garcia was a drug cheat. And I don't think Ryan Garcia deserves to headline a card after coming off of a suspension for having drugs in his system and fighting for a title. I mean, really make it make sense. You know, guys who work hard and deserve a shot, they don't get a shot. They don't get shots at titles. I don't know. But like I said, I'm just on my soapbox. But you guys let me know what you think. Do you think Bill Haney is right about Ryan Garcia looking different after being off Osterine? And the question is, if he looks different, will he perform different in this fight with Rolly? You guys let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.